So hello everybody, Turbojugend Radio is on the air. It's episode number 80. And for number 80, I have something very special for you. Especially for you young guys out there in Turbojugend who have not done your homework. I have a band with me at this time from Oslo, Norway. They go by the name of the Anal Babes. And usually when you type in Anal Babes on the Google, you find something else nice. But in this case, you have to add band. And eventually, Turd, who's on the mic with me, and Abdullah the Thief will turn up. And there's a huge, on one website, a huge history of the band. And as you dig into the whole thing, you'll find out that you guys, the Anal Babes, have lots of connections with the Turbonegro band, which we all love and adore. So first of all, hi to you guys.
Hello.
Hey. And thank you for joining the podcast. Especially since I'm always trying to educate people young people in life and also on the podcast. Why don't you just introduce yourself and start talking about the Anal Babes, which are a quite, famous band also in the Turbonegro world.
Infamous. I'm Abdullah the Thief. That's my nom de guerre in Anal Babes. But I played in Turbonegro early. I'm on the Turboloid trade winch. I played drums until they kicked me out. And nowadays I play in the retirement home version of Turbonegro, which is Turbonegro. And we do 50% covers of early Turbonegro, like the really punk stuff, and 50% what we want, like Brain Bombs and Lebanon and whatever.
When were you in the band? What year was that?
1991, I'm guessing.
So before, right in this Deathpunk era, basically, when they played the music, what was once called the Deathpunk, right?
Yeah, well, maybe before that.
Okay. So what's up with you, Turd?
Yeah, I've never played in Turbonegro, but so Turbabe, I'm the lead singer or the vocalist in the Anal Babes. I've been in that band from the start to we finally broke up, kind of, and yeah. So it's a. I think we played together for, was it 10 years, something like that?
Yeah, 10 years, from 88 to 98, right?
Yeah, something like that.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and then we played a couple gigs later, but we stopped recording and doing like regular rehearsals.
Okay, so take me back into history of the Anal Babes. How did this band form, and maybe later on, what's the connection to Turbonegro? I mean, Anal Babes, you have to be, I don't know what happened to bands in Norway back in the late 80s or early 90s, but here comes a band who thought about calling itself Nazi Penis, and then here comes the Anal Babes. Why is that?
Yeah.
There was nothing going on at that time. This was like REM and Dream Syndicate. And you had a hardcore punk. That was cool. But we like 70s punk, and we were all like outcasts, misfits from around Oslo, like shitholes. And we met at this school called Forsøksgym.
Yeah, I think that's a very key part of the story about both Turbonegro and the introduction of the other bands. That summer when we all were like 15, 16 and started going to high school, and a lot of people moved to Oslo or started to go to high school in Oslo, and a lot of us went to a very special school, a very radical kind of a school that were experimenting with student democracy. So we were not getting any grades from the teachers. We have to take all the exams by ourselves. And it was a very progressive school. And they had a music teaching kind of classroom where they had drum sets and everything, and amplifiers stuff.
We could rehearse.
Yeah, we could rehearse there. So and the teacher, he just basically gave us the keys. So you can come and go at this school as you want. And we managed to, or very soon, we kind of, a lot of us just we found each other. Because we were outcasts and we were not interested in necessarily the more traditional kind of hardcore punk rock political stuff. I was that, but the main thing was that we were looking at other kind of musics. And I think a key player is a guy called Vegard, who started up a band called Deathpunk.
He started fucking Turbonegro.
Yeah, he started fucking Turbonegro. He was importing like mail or music from the States. A lot of really, really cool, obscure, great music that nobody listened to. And we just loved it. And it was kind of like a vacuum because everyone was doing
like Big Black, but also Surfers, Pussy Galore, stuff like that.
Yeah. So all the like bands from record labels like Touch and Go or
Amphetamine Reptile.
Yeah. And we kind of thought that this was the thing. This was the real cool thing. And so a lot of bands started up. Of course, we didn't start up playing the stuff that we ended up doing, but we started bands, a lot of bands. And we basically started rehearsing and doing cover songs, the same cover songs that everyone does, like Louie and Boredom and stuff like that.
And the easy part of Iron Man, Evo Mongoloid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So okay, but was Turbonegro in the same, or the early members of Turbonegro in the same school as well, or was it just the anal babes?
I was in class with Paul Butker, and we had a band called Fan I Helvete. And Turd was a singer. And
bass player. Actually.
A bass player, yeah. I'm sorry.
I was a singer and bass player,
yeah. Yeah, and that was the start. And Paul ended up in Turbonegro. He took one of the songs from Fan I Helvete, who became the first Turbo single, Route Zero. My riff.
Yeah, so we were all kind of this community. We were all this bunch of kids playing in each other's bands. So we were playing in a lot of bands at the same time, and it was very like incest kind of incest. So and Thomas were playing in all of them, I guess, at some point. But yeah, it was a lot of bands at that time, and we were all having the same spirit. This is we want to do something completely, something that's not played in the clubs or and of course when you start a band with a band name like Anal Babes,
yeah.
You don't really have any ambitions of getting far in like radio play or anything. So we were just doing this for ourselves because we thought it was necessary.
What I noticed is that during the first, like your music, which you can like, I'll post the link on the Facebook, on the Turbojugend Radio Facebook page, by the way. But on that your very homepage, you can download lots of your songs, and if you listen to those songs, they are very, very similar to the old Turbonegro songs, I would say, in my humble opinion. This old Deathpunk, rough, in your face, in your butt, basically style. very, very rough, but a certain Deathpunk tune. And I asked this question to Happy Tom on that podcast before, and he wouldn't answer it or couldn't answer it. He didn't answer it, right? So what I'm asking you directly, what if you think of your music, and would you also call it Deathpunk? And if so, or can you just describe it, how you managed to put this certain type of music out? Is there a certain structure to it?
No, it's like an attitude, I think. And like we were there at the start, and it's huge now around the world. It's very weird. And I can tell you what Deathpunk is today at all. But I'll maybe tell you something about the origins.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one Deathpunk band in the world, it's Brain Bombs from Sweden.
Yeah, it's still in existence. So I think if you go to the Wikipedia and look up Deathpunk, you will see.
That's a very accurate article.
You'll see Turbonegro and you'll see Poison. Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, but the thing is about music, of course, is that this changes. So I'm not here to say what Deathpunk is today. I think your audience is probably the ones to define that. But to us, back in the 90s, it was a lot about the attitude, a lot about some specific musical influences, and kind of we don't give a shit attitude.
Yeah. So we don't give a shit attitude. Describe the band. I mean, if you see, I've seen pictures, and you just came across on those pictures. Correct me. You're regular guys, not too much makeup, not too much gadgets going on, but just dressing down to your very naked self and not giving a single shit. And describe whatever happened on the stage when the anal babes were playing, because I would say it was pretty rough.
Oh yeah, it was violent. I mean, we wanted the music to be dangerous, and we wanted to be dangerous to go to the Anal Babes concert, and it was. We were attacking the crowds. We were hitting people. We were whipping people with bull whips. We didn't really want people to like us. We didn't really want people to kind of be a crowd of sheep that just were passively looking at something for entertainment. This was meant to be dangerous, and it was
confrontational,
very confrontational. We were on tour with the Turbonegro once at least, and when we kept on, we were signed up to play with several other bands. Once the British band cancelled because of what they heard about our aggressive stage performance. We did a concert. I think it was in Austria? Was it? No, it was in Belgium. Was it? I don't remember. But we were really like being very violent against the audience, and we acted against each other. So I was standing in total leather gear. I mean, like a sadomasochist, leather from the top down, and no shirt on, covered in blood, because the guitar player basically, it was a lot of violence and aggression, and I think that's it's we're not Gigi Allen, but we wanted to have that kind of nerve, and we absolutely managed to get that.
But we wanted to finish our concerts.
Yeah.
But how was the reaction in the club? Were people fighting back, or were
no,
fearfully squeezed into one corner?
Oh yeah, they loved it. They really loved it. And that's the thing, is that when people like the bands playing before us, that just really they don't get that kind of response. They don't get that kind of reaction. People are seeing just another punk rock band. And then we come on stage, basically naked or in like orange or purple tangas or just bare minimum dress. And me dressed up as like this sadomasochist, crazy with studs all over the place. And we are being very physical, and people are okay. So the ones closest to the to us in the audience, they need to fucking start slam dancing, or they need to fucking start being as aggressive. And the people a bit more back in the audience, they were just standing there with their mouth open and getting a kick they hadn't had in years. So yeah, it was love. It was love. It was astonishment and fear and love.
Did you at any point get in trouble with the public or the authorities at one point that you had to stop concerts? So anybody...
Yeah, we did. The cops stopped a concert that we played in a venue in Oslo, where we actually almost ended up in a fight with the cops and getting the audience with us on it. So
I remember that.
Yeah.
2 civilian cops came into we played like 10 minutes later than the club was allowed. And 2 civilian cops came in, and somebody threw a glass of wine in one of their faces. And they pulled back over.
Yeah, we were all ACAB trying to start a line.
Shut down the PA, but Turd's mic was still on, and he was screaming like, ACAB, we can take this fuckers! And one of the cops came on stage and said, I can charge you with like oppvigleri.
Yeah, like insertion or whatever you call it, like instigation, I think it's called.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just worried about getting the fuck out because I had a lot of amphetamine backstage. And when we came out to the street was closed just by cops up and down. That operation must have cost like a million Norwegian kroner.
Like hundreds of cops. It was, yeah.
But I got out with my drugs, so it was fine.
So, also referring to Turbonegro, is in how far is homosexuality part of your game of the band? You're called Anal Babe, so pardon my question, but it always comes up my mind. Is were you also playing with that homosexual image back then?
For me personally, when I was young and started hanging out in Oslo, I'm from a shit place outside Oslo. I like going to gay bars and stuff because it was like an underground, and the people were openly gay at that time. Like mid-80s, it was really fun, cool people.
It's underground. It was underground, and people are treating us decently for once. I think we had a lot of gay clubs when we after rehearsals and stuff, but yeah.
But was it part of the band's image, homosexuality and hard music?
Not like Turbonegro. It's all the Tom Field and stuff, and we really like it. It's great, but we didn't have that kind. I don't know what we did. It was just basically insane. We played nude several times, completely nude, except me. I don't have a guitar to hide behind, so I stuck with my sadomasochistic stuff.
It's like it came from a porn mag.
Yeah,
but it's also because when your band name starts with A, you're first when you start going through the records in a record shop.
Of course.
And also there's just being anal, like you know.
Anal retentive. It's
yes, it's
exactly.
not anxiety, but it's a psychological
Exactly.
stage of somehow stressed
Yeah,
in a way.
being anal is to be very particular and being very
But
So
it's just a horrible name.
No, but I
yeah,
liked it. I mean, I was always appealed to when I started following Turbo and the name Anal Babes came across. I was like, what is that? Is it a former Turbonegro band? Is it the form in my early stages? I didn't know, obviously. But I was always, back in the, when was that? Early 2000s, I found this webpage and all this music. Like, fuck, this is Deathpunk. This is the origin of Deathpunk. It's gotta be. So, I was always appealed by the stuff you were doing. And Anal Babes, was it at any point a problem, your name? Were you criticized, or were you allowed to use that name all the time?
Doing, as you say, is a big problem. My mother didn't like it much. Please change your name.
Yeah, we had issues, of course. So we were touring. I think when we were touring with the Turbonegro, they were called Stierkampf, and we were going to play in Hamburg. Was it? Yeah, the Reeperbahn in Hamburg, and we were blocked from playing because of the people that worked there. So all the female or everyone working there, they thought Stierkampf must be these Nazis. Yes. And the invite must be these kind of anti-feminist dickheads. And I think it was Rune and Thomas went to talk to them. And I think they expected kind of some Dolph Lundgren looking Nazi asshole. But what they got was Thomas and Rune. And so they kind of, okay, these guys are actually really cool. So we played in this, and this was an S&M bar at the Reeperbahn, and we when we played there, the people that were the most skeptical about the name, they were up front dancing and tearing our clothes off and buying us drinks. So
that was a religious moment because at that concert, the people from Big Balls and the Great White Idiots showed up. It's like they released a punk rock album in '77, and we've done a couple of covers by them. And
German band, right?
Yes, Big Balls and the Great White Idiot. And we stole the LP title from them. The Dignity of the Anal Babes, that's Unimpeachable.
And of course, the Big Ball Records, which is a record label that we release stuff.
Yeah.
You two guys, you were on that label, right?
They came to the concert, and in that bar they had this tradition, or maybe in Hamburg, if they like the band, they come with shots when you're on stage.
Yeah,
and it was a beautiful night.
Cool. So you were mentioning
meeting those guys.
Yeah, you were mentioning these two albums, that the Dignity of the Anal Babes is Unimpeachable, and the first one, the Delirium or Diarrhea in 1995. So talk about your albums, just the basic structure. At what point did you decide to do an album?
The exact minute that we thought we had enough material. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so we released singles the exact minute that we had the songs, and the same with the album. When we had rehearsed enough stuff, we wanted to fucking get it out. This was kind of part of it. We wanted people. We felt that people needed to listen to this. To get it out there. I know it's evil. People shouldn't. Nobody should listen to this. But we felt that they. So yeah.
How was the response? Did many people buy it? Do you still remember that?
We only printed like 500, so we got rid of those pretty easy.
Yeah, they were sold out very fast. But again, because we released it in really like 500 copies and stuff like that. So we created kind of
the first LP. We printed 500 first, and then 300. And
in 2002, right? You re-released it again.
Yeah.
The second one was like also David Goodick, Punk Babe. He ran the record label. He made shit happen, and the second LP, Delirium of Diarrhea. There's like he released it on vinyl, and a company called Voices of Wonder released it on CD. I have no idea how many.
Yeah, and
But
then
that's on Spotify. And
that's the only thing that's on Spotify, that's so that the second LP is probably the one that had some attention, and that it was released on vinyl, it was re-released on CD, and then it was released digitally through different record stores, and then finally on Spotify.
So the good thing is that you are very open with your music. So people, of course you can collect it, and honestly, I've not looked it up on Discogs or anything, but I would think it fetches a good price nowadays. Some 17 years later.
It's important to get the message out, because when you contact me to have this interview, we were on the final stages of re-releasing everything we ever done. So it's been remastered, brilliantly remastered, and we are now releasing this kind of box, 100 copies with everything on vinyl, on colored vinyl, with a like.
That's great news. Box. Is it sold out already?
Yeah, it's sold out in 1 or 2 days. So this is probably going to be re-released as some less kind of record collector oriented
less
thing.
fancy.
Yeah, I hope so, and I really hope that it could release more of it, because it would be great if people got a chance to listen to it, because it's been so hard to get by because of our own decisions back in the days of just releasing very, very few copies. So it might be easier to get hold of something in the coming month.
So I understand you made a really cool fancy box released or had 100 copies of it, but you are open to re-release it, to have it really available for people who want to listen to the whole thing, but not as record collectors, but more music fans and Alebabe and Deathpunk fans. So they
maybe, but it's Hagmar Industries released it. And I expect now it will end up on YouTube or something. So
yeah, but that's all cool. If it's not for money only, and if you feel free to share it,
it never was. I mean, if we were in this for the money, we would never have called ourselves the Anal Babes in the first place. It's kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you want to make money off of music. So never saw any money from anything. it's just cost us a lot of money.
This is almost my last question for the interview. What happened to your lives after the Anal Babes? Regular
junkie for a while. 20 years ago, I went to rehab, and I got. Nowadays, I don't know. I make music on my computer. I play in Turbonegro, which is fucking great. And I don't know.
Yeah.
But okay, so you stayed in music.
Yeah, I'm back in music now.
After being I've
been out of the loop because of drugs and depression for a while, but I'm back.
Cool. And you, Turd?
I've chosen the kind of the basically the easy way. I'm working very corporate, so I made a lot for myself. I have kids and suburban life. So
do they ever know? Do they know about the Anal Babes? Your kids, or will they know about it at one point?
The fun thing is that just the other day, after Corona starts now to kind of loosen up a bit, and we were getting vaccinated here in Norway. I pulled out. I have a tiki bar that I pulled out of my pouch and started to kind of get ready with my son, who's 17. And my neighbor that I haven't been speaking to at all because I just moved to this area comes and say, yeah, tiki bar, cool, drinks anytime soon, and then he sees my T-shirt, and that's like an Antifa T-shirt, and yeah, cool T-shirt, and we start talking, and he's played in a band, and I say, yeah, I played in a band, and he says, what band is that? Yeah, well, that's Angel Babes, and he's like, whoa, really? Do you play in the Angel Babes? I'm a great fan. And this is something that's really blows my mind these days. That I come across people that was never part of this kind of closed loop that we had back in the 90s. But a lot of people have been exposed to this music, and they stop me kind of on concerts and they say, your music really meant a lot to us. We were stuck in our small shitty towns, but we listened to your music and it made a fucking difference.
I have a 15-year-old son. He doesn't give a shit.
But he will eventually.
My mind is you guys like Turbojugend and Turbonegro, how huge it became from that. It's a great thing.
Yeah,
like rock and roll.
One last question, because this is a burning question. Like the audience probably also wants to know: will you ever play live as the Anal Babes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, as soon as this Corona lockdown shit is over and people can go crazy in front of the stage, we'll do a couple of gigs.
We will.
That is Norway.
So what we have looked into is to do a tour of Oslo, where we will play for all the venues that have been that we love and that have been really hit hard by the coronavirus and because of the lockdowns and play there basically for free, I think. And just and also that will be something we can do to get some exposure on the box that we're releasing, and then we take it from there. If it's successful and we like playing together, then we haven't done that for a while. So who knows?
Well, that's a cool thing. I mean, let me know as the time for the podcast is coming to an end. Just let me know, and I'll spread the news in the Turbojugend. And maybe if you guys are open to play abroad in a city where you've mentioned in the conversation in Hamburg, I'll happy to get you connected to the guys, and I would love to see you. Let's have an idea of maybe possibly play at the Turbojugend. So thank you so much, Turd. Thank you so much, Abdullah, for your time. Thank you so much for educating the audience. I hope to hear from you guys soon, and I really hope to see you in person, and possibly on stage.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you very much.
Adios. Adios.
Presented by. So this has been Turbojugend Radio episode number 80. A very special episode that takes you into history of not only Turbonegro, because they did split a single with the Anal Babes back in 1995 with this split single, Flabby Sagging Flesh and Death Time. So this took you in part into a history not only of the band Turbonegro, but also into the history of Deathpunk, which we all dearly love, and sometimes, to be quite honest, miss when you look at the current Turbonegro records. At least I do miss this certain Deathpunk touch. And not by coincidence, finishing up this podcast, I would like to give to you the Anal Babes themselves. I wouldn't want to put anything else onto an in-depth interview with the Anal Babes from Norway. So I am proudly presenting you off their album, The Dignity of the Anal Babes is Unimpeachable, out of 1992, as we learned. The song that goes by the name of Fuck Stock, and it is actually the first song of the album. Good luck digging that record up on Discogs or somewhere on the cyberspace. Nevertheless, you can, if you feel like listening to the Anal Babes, and maybe if you're not into collecting records, you can get this off their Bandcamp site. I will post this below the Turbojugend Radio Facebook group text, so you'll have it. But I don't want to waste your time anymore. Sit back, enjoy Deathpunk at its purest. Enjoy the song Fuck Stock, or in English, Fuck Stuck, by the Anal Babes.